All right, we got Magnus on the channel. Welcome, Magnus. Magnus, what are you? 27 years old. You made how much? 2.5 million in sales in e-commerce?
Yeah, so I turned 27 1 month ago, and so far in total, from my 2.5 years of experience with e-commerce, I've not netted, but done 2.5 million total in e-com.
Now, before we get into this video, I just wanted to mention that this is an honest and unpaid interview. I don't pay, anybody to come onto this channel and share their experiences. Every experience is unique, and also very importantly is that any earnings claims that you hear in this interview. So, if the student is mentioning a dollar figure, or if I mention a dollar figure, for example, 10,000, 20,000, or 50,000, it's not a guarantee that you are going to achieve the same result. Nobody can make such a guarantee, obviously, because business is business, and some people fail. Some people succeed. And honestly, success depends on a lot of factors, including your work that you put into it, the amount that you invest, market conditions, and honestly, sometimes just luck. And with that being said, I hope that you enjoy this success interview. That's amazing, dude. That's amazing. So when did you start? 21, right? 2021?
Yeah, so I found your channel in December of 2020. And then I decided to drop out of school January 2021 and go all in from there. And from beginning of 2021, it's been a hell of a grind, and
Right.
the rest is story.
Nice. Actually, I think if you found me in January of 21, actually, I was in Norway at that time.
I
I
remember
I
you
was
were
I
at
was in
my
Norway.
gym actually.
What?
Yeah, you were at my gym actually. That was
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
2 kilometers from my house.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I was chilling with. I was living in Oslo because it was like COVID, and like I just didn't want to be like in Canada because all the gyms were closed. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Plus, I like Norway. I've been a lot of times before. It's a good country. I had some boys there. I was chilling with my buddy Thor or Tore. His real name
Yeah.
is Tore, but he calls himself Thor.
Tore. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
yeah, and then we went to Stavanger and stuff. But that's cool, man. So tell us, who you are, like what's your background and stuff, and how you got into all this.
sure. So like I told you before the call, I've seen a common pattern in my life, and that is that I've always been super obsessed with things when I found something to really invest myself in. So already from when I was like 10 years old, when I found gaming, for example, World of Warcraft, where I could play a character, develop him, and seeing progress, doing quests and all of that, that was all I ever thought about, like all day long. When I was at school, it was basically my main thing that was getting me through the day. And then when I was 15, the same thing happened with weightlifting. Um, I found the concept that you could actually build bigger muscles and getting stronger by pushing weight. And I got super obsessed in that as well. Um, but then weight training kind of started to fade off after a couple of years, or maybe like 7, 8 years. Started to just maintain it, but I wasn't like grounded on training anymore. So I was looking for something new. Then I found TikTok when it was pretty trendy, pretty new. So I started doing some TikTok, some funny jokes and stuff in Norwegian. Did that during Corona, and managed to get around 130,000 followers in like 8 months. And I decided, I should take advantage of all my followers and try to monetize it or make money off of it. So then I did what everyone does. I went to YouTube and I searched for how to make money online or Shopify tutorial or something. And then you, my dear friend, showed up. Your amazing Shopify tutorial course. I remember it had like 2 or 3 million views at that time.
At the time, yeah.
And now I checked like last week and it had 11 million views. So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It is. Dude, when I posted that video, I gotta tell you, when I posted that video, I'm like, this is the best video ever made. I need this to get views. And so I
Yeah, yeah.
remember I even did like a this sounds crazy, but I did like a little like visualization before I uploaded it. I'm like, I was literally picturing the video with like 2 million views, 2 million. And I was like, really, really, I'm like, okay, post. And now it's 11, so it's crazy. Yeah, it's like, it's crazy what can happen when you really, I guess, just believe in yourself and take action. But so you joined in 2021. You joined the Ecom Freedom Shopify course, Shopify Freedom,
Yep.
and you started up your business with a business partner, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Back to what you said, yeah, it's all about you basically manifested it. It's seeing what you want to achieve and then believing in it and then just go for it. That's like the whole secret. And that's something that because yeah, the technical aspect of things that you teach me or showed me through the Shopify course showed me how to do it. But then your other videos, like the mindset videos and stuff, that what's really attracted me because here was you, a guy my age, having made all this success. What's the difference between me and you? It's only your your access to information,
Yeah.
your skills, and your belief that you actually can do it.
Yeah.
And I still remember to this day your videos about like talking about the caveman brain versus your logical brain and
Yeah.
all of that. And all of that got me into a spiral of self-improvement, which really was super helpful for me to help me to flip that switch in order to really believe myself and throw all of me into it.
Yeah. And for those watching the caveman brain versus logical brain, I think that was how I was talking about. That was for my How to Make Your First Million course, I think. Yeah, on YouTube. And I think I was talking about basically how like people have like a caveman, like people like just in general were wired the same way as our ancestors 10,000 years ago, and so we think like cavemen. So we're like food, shelter. Should I take a risk? No. You know, it's very like primal thinking. And so that's why like it's important, like what you said, you know, to change that. And when you realize, you know, you take into account, okay, I've got this caveman brain through in my DNA, but like that's not serving me anymore. Now I gotta like, you know, adapt and you know use that to build success. It's really good. So you said you have a business partner, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So I bought the Shopify Freedom course in January 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to go all on it. So I dropped out of school. Before this, I was in a position in my life where I didn't really know where I wanted to go with my life. I started to attend a school, just to attend a school without really knowing what I wanted to become in my life, and some pressure from home and from my parents and stuff like that. But I dropped out and I started another school. I was 1 year in, then I found your course. I decided to drop out and go all the way in. I bought your course. Inside the course, by the way, the community in your course is amazing. So many people wanting to achieve the same, interacting with each other, supporting each other. And there I found another Norwegian guy named Eirik. We decided to jump on a quick call. I think I searched for like Norwegian or something, like a post. And then he responded, "Yeah, I'm a Norwegian as well. We got to jump on a call, bro. Yeah, of course."
And you guys lived really close to each other, right?
Yeah, like 20 minutes apart.
Wow.
So it started off. Yeah, still remember our first conversation on phone lasted like 5 hours. It was like,
Wow.
yeah. It was like immediate match because he was basically the same person as me. He wanted the same thing, the same mindset, the same drive. Everything just clicked, and since then we have been collaborating ever since.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So this guy, so basically you didn't know this guy, you joined the course, you found him in the community, you got on a call, and you're like, yo, let's do this business together. So how many months have you already been in the course, or was this like right at the beginning that you found Eirik?
It was like 3 months into
3 months.
my journey, yeah,
And
and
did
into
he
the
already have a business, or he was also starting up as well?
he actually started out like a couple of months before me, so he already had the store, and that's a good thing because he was kind of like mentoring me a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah,
But then we started to catch up, and then we were at like at the same level.
yeah,
Then
yeah,
we
yeah.
started pushing together.
That's amazing. So he was just ahead of you. So like I was kind of like, you know, the main mentor, and then he already built the store, and then he was just ahead of you. So there's actually a rule. There's a saying that to teach someone else, you only need to be 10% ahead of somebody, you know. And so obviously he had that experience. So cool. So then you started your store. Did your first store succeed or no? With Eirik?
I wish, bro, I wish, but it didn't.
Okay.
It takes some time to figure things out. You know, when I still remember to this day when you're starting out on this journey and you don't really have any business experience, everything just seems so out there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like so much to learn, so many like different parts to get together. So it's really overwhelming at first. But like you said in the course, it's just to begin, just to start, take one day at a time. and then slowly but steadily for each product and each store that you test, you learn something new.
Exactly.
Like we learned in Think and Grow Rich, every failure is a stepping stone to success.
Yep.
And I adapted that mindset. So I think I tested like 5 products maybe before. I still remember the day before, on the 12th of May 2021, we launched a product, spent $100 on advertising, and we sold for $500. So that,
Damn.
yeah, so that's a 5 in ROAS, and that's basically the day that everything changed. Sorry about
So
that.
on the first day, $100 ad spend, $500 back.
Yeah, that's
And
correct.
were you selling only to Norway or US?
No, worldwide.
Worldwide. And where were most of your customers from? Like the big four?
Yeah, I think a
US,
common
Canada.
yeah, a common pattern throughout all my stores has been like 60 to 70% has been in America.
Yeah. So have you launched any Norwegian specific stores or no?
No,
No.
you know, the tax here is pretty high, so we actually do not sell to Norway almost.
The tax you said is pretty high?
Yeah, we only sell organically to Norway. We don't
Oh, because
advertise.
of are you talking about VAT?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That is so annoying, man. For Europeans, how you have to pay like what is it, 24%?
Yeah, 25.
It's insane. It's insane. In Canada and US, for everybody watching, sales tax is paid by the customer. So it doesn't come out of your profit margin. But like in Europe, so in Norway or in Sweden or in one of those countries in Europe, like you have to pay the VAT, which is like, yeah, it sucks, but like what are you gonna do? You know, if you're gonna run a business in Europe, that's what you have to do. There's no way to get around it. Right. But
Yeah,
obviously, if for those watching, if you are European or you're not from America, you know, you always have the option, just like Magnus, to sell anywhere else in the world. That's the great thing about the internet, that you can sell anywhere and you can start a store. So, so you did 500 bucks in your first day. And how did you feel when you like refreshed your Shopify app? Because you heard the cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
yeah, yeah, man. I have always documented my journey, so I'm recording myself like a minute or two on Snapchat, just journaling.
Yeah.
And I knew recording myself that day. I still remember walking outside, raining, checking my sales, that this was the beginning of something new. And it was kind of like the feeling of almost like a feeling of fear of success, because it's like, wow, it's really happening, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because in the beginning, when you put yourself out there and trying to start a business, it almost feels like it's too good to be true, that
Too good to be true. Yeah.
yeah, that I can achieve this. But the more deeper into the journey you become, it's more like, wow, this can actually happen, and this can actually happen to me.
Yeah.
And then the step is like, wow, it's really happening now. Um, and from that day, the store continued to perform like really good. And that store, if you speed up like a year, 1.5 year, that store ended up doing almost $1 million in total.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and then we sold 80% of it for a good bunch of money that we then reinvested in our next project.
And how has your life changed since that day that you made 500 bucks in sales? You put in 100 bucks in ad spend, made 500 bucks back, saw that this is really possible because your mind changed that day. You're like, okay, Dan is saying all this stuff, before that you're like, Dan is saying all this stuff, like entrepreneurship. Okay. Yeah. But like, like I know you said, cause me and Magnus were kind of talking a little bit before on social media. Like I think Magnus, he was telling me he had a girlfriend at the time. Was your girlfriend supportive, or was she a little bit like, kind of like what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm really lucky with my girlfriend because she's always been really supportive, and she's been really understandable. However, she was kind of like, you want to start your own business, you want to drop out of school,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to spend $500 on a course on the
Yeah.
internet. What's going on, dude? Uh, and all of a sudden, I turned like, I guess I was more playful before, like joking around, but now all of a sudden I was more like serious. Now I really want to do this. So
Yeah.
I think that she witnessed a change in me. But back to your previous question, how all of this changed my life.
Yeah.
It's like you said, when you watch videos of people like explaining mindset and stuff like that in the beginning, it kind of goes over your head because you're not really aware enough to really take it in.
You're not awake enough. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And I can't even describe in words how much my life has changed. And the best thing is because when I started this path, my belief was that I'm going to be the person that I was when I started, just with more money. But what I didn't realize was that this entire journey is more about you developing yourself to become a person that's capable of making the business that you want to make, kind of,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's all about transforming yourself, your beliefs, your discipline, your mindset, your worldview, and everything. And that's why I think that your mindset videos resonated so much with me. And like me and Eirik have talked about so many times, that's my business partner that I met in the community group for the people watching. The videos where you were talking about the caveman brain versus the logical brain, it's all about being aware of, because the person you have to become to be able to achieve your dream life is not the person that you are now. So it's all about being aware enough to see what your highest version of yourself would do, and then take yourself and be aware enough on all the actions that kind of like your old self is doing.
Yeah.
So in your example, the caveman brain, everybody has a lazy side. Everybody has a caveman brain that doesn't want to work, that just want to lay on the couch, eat crappy foods, and stuff like that. And it's developing awareness and mindfulness over that person, and watching over yourself, and then don't listen to your caveman brain,
Yeah.
basically. Then slowly but steadily, practice, you slowly turn into the person that you want to become.
You gain awareness, right? So every day you gain awareness, and you're always like, am I succumbing to the caveman brain, or am I really doing what I need to do to move forward, right? Because most people, they just operate that way, like they're just lazy, and they do the bare minimum.
Yeah, basically the whole point of my rant was that it was way more working on myself as a person and a character than I thought when I started, because it's all about who's the person behind, the energy behind the guy that is sitting on this computer doing all the technical stuff, because everyone can do the technical stuff.
Yeah. Because before, and same with me before, I thought, and I'm sure you did as well, I thought, oh, it's about Shopify. It's about the product. It's about the business model. Okay, if you just show me step 1, 2, 3, then, I'll be rich, right? But it's not like that.
Give me the tactics.
Yeah. Give me the tactics. Give me the recipe, and then I don't need to do all the self-development shit. I don't need to read the books. Give me the tactics. But it's a common misconception. I was going to ask you, were you broke before you started this?
Yeah, I was pretty broke, I would say. Not like super broke, but I came from a family that were like, I would say average, a little below average. And when I
Average
started,
Norwegian family.
yeah, so like super rich. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Well, compared to the rest of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting like $1,000 from school, like in like 50% stipend and 50% debt. And then I was working on the side, working at the reception at the gym, getting around like $500 to $1,000 there.
Which, by the way, is crazy. I don't know of any other country in the world that pays people to go to school. That's insane.
Yeah.
So obviously, Magnus is from a very high quality country, let's say, and I think we were just talking about it, that in a country like that, like in Norway, like people have more support from the government, like actual genuine support, not like the bullshit support we have in Canada, where they just talk but they don't actually support you. And so I think it's harder for people because in Norway, it's like the average is so much higher. The average quality of life is so much higher than in Canada or in other places in the world. It's like, I'm not talking about Africa or whatever, obviously, but so like in Norway, even if you're average, you still got food on the table, good food. You still like have a normal kind of quality of life, but you're not like on the street. When I was in Norway, I've been in Norway many times, like I never saw anybody on the street, struggling or like homeless or anything. Maybe now it's changed, but back when I used to go, like 2018, 2019, 2020, there was nobody on the street. Whereas here in Canada, if you go to the city, yeah, there's people on the street and they're fucking crazy, So like
there's a few areas in Oslo as well, but not many at all compared to other countries.
Yeah. So, okay. So you met your girl before you became successful. So how is your relationship now? Like, how has this new sense of freedom improved your relationships, your life? Like, what are you doing now? What are you able to do that you're not able to do before?
Yeah. So I was about to say also that So we were together for 3 years before I started this journey. I've been on this journey for 3 years. So half of the time that we've been together, I've been doing business. And when I started this self-improvement business, working on myself, taking responsibility for my life quest, basically, I kind of dragged her into it as well. So she's not the same person that she was 3 years ago either.
Really?
Not me either. Yeah. So we have both totally changed.
You've
And I
both
was
grown.
about, yeah, totally. And I was about to say this when we wrapped up the last thing that we talked about as well, because yeah, everybody is chasing money, everybody wants to be free, but what you really want is the feeling of satisfaction of becoming the person that you've always want to become.
Yeah.
Confidence you achieve. The money is just kind of like a bonus, and that's what I think is the biggest reward. And to go back to your question about how my life has changed with all this money and my relationship with her and everything, I would say that's the best thing. The confidence, the calmness, the satisfaction also on being on a purpose, on knowing what you want in life, and obviously not being stressed out about the next month's salary, paying like the loan for the house, being able to travel more, and just not being limited by the stress of not having enough money.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Naval Ravikant says, money won't make you happy, but it will resolve all the money stress. So it will reduce.
The money stress. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I was gonna ask you, what about like what are some of your hobbies? Like, are you able to like what are some of the things you like to do? I don't know if you're like working all the time, or like, or do you ski or something? Like, what do you do? Go travel? Yeah,
Ski because I'm from Norway, right?
yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's a good question actually, because when the biggest change that happened was when I was able to quit my job 2 years ago. That was
At
like,
at the gym.
yeah, at the gym, and also dropping out of school. And the uncertainty of just studying something just to be a student, basically, just
What
because
were you studying?
um, physical activity and nutrition,
Okay,
which
yeah.
is something that I really enjoyed, but still I didn't really know what I could use it for because you
No.
didn't really get any like specific degrees. It was like just, and I could have learned it on the internet anyways. So
Yeah, and eventually, you if you would have graduated that, and let's say you never would have found Shopify or e-commerce or all this, you would have just the best thing for you to do would be to just become like an online Instagram fitness coach anyway, which
yeah,
you still can do. I mean, I don't know if you want to do that, but I'm just saying like you really didn't need the university piece of paper, right? So yeah, so sorry, go ahead. You were saying like what things you like to do now that you're able to do now that you have more money and more freedom.
yeah. So the biggest change happened when I could quit my job 2.5 years ago, because 2.5 to 2 years ago, because then it was like my everyday life changed so much, because now I could wake up with a string in my step, doing what I love to do. I could plan my days after what I wanted to do that day. And that freed up a lot of time for me to be able to invest more time in hobbies and things that I love to do as well. So, for example, I have a really big interest in training, both running and weight training. So now I can plan my days and around training, so I can wake up when it supports my training, and then I could get to work, and then I could get my second training session, for example. So just being able to uh, plan my days, I'm always planning my days, even today, is very liberating, very liberating. So that's the biggest thing, and to have more freedom. Um, has allowed me to invest more times in new hobbies as well. So, for example, I've always been a weightlifter, like a really heavy weightlifter, 100 kilos. But now for the last year, I've been more into running. So, for example, in September, I did my first marathon,
Oh, nice.
and that's stuff I wouldn't have time to do if I had a 9 to 5.
Did you complete the marathon? Like you did
Yeah,
the whole thing? How long was it? How big was it?
42 kilometers,
Nice.
like around the entire city of Oslo 2 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. I don't know if I'll ever do a marathon. I don't know if I like running that much, but I respect you for that, bro. Yeah. Cool, man. So Magnus, now tell us about your like what you're doing now. Obviously you found your bigger mission, which is to help. Well, I'll let you tell. What's your bigger mission now that you've realized?
Yeah, so after being through this journey myself, I think you also can like find yourself in what I'm saying here, because when you have discovered that this actually is an opportunity, and that even though we have doubt before we started, that we actually did achieve it, at least led me to think like, why aren't more people doing this? We're living in a fantastic generation, a fantastic era with a lot of opportunities because of the internet and technology. And I know that the change that happened in my life when I decided to just go all in on this is priceless.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of cliche, but when you have kind of like filled your own cup, the thing that feels the best is to help others to do the same, basically.
Yeah.
So I didn't mention this, but after I've done e-commerce for only like 1 year. We started to coach on the side, and we've been coaching people for the last 2 years, seeing great results. We have had people generate thousands of dollars, even quit their job, and some people even move to other countries. And there's nothing that makes me happier than being able to bring the same change in other people's lives that happened to me. So as I mentioned, we recently sold one of our e-commerce stores, and now we have decided to go all in on a local agency here in Norway. It's only open for people in Scandinavia, where we basically take people that have no experience, show them exactly how to do this, give them courses, give them coaching, one-on-ones, and not only, like we talked about earlier, not only on the technical aspect of things, but like the fundamentals on building yourself up as a person. Like, how do you sleep? How do you eat? Do you exercise? Do you take care of your body? How's your clarity? Do you meditate? Do you have a clear mind? Do you have a clear goal? What's the core motivations for wanting to do this? When you have all in this in place, the journey becomes so much better. So
Cool. So you mentioned so basically Magnus mentioned that he started an agency. Did you start with Eric with Eric
yeah,
or okay, cool. So it's you two. And how many people have you had so far in your coaching?
20 people.
20 people. So is this a fairly recent thing?
Yeah, so we started off early this year, so in January. But then we had such a huge response and we couldn't take on more clients, so we had to pause it. So we paused all advertising the entire summer. And now we branded it and made it into an agency,
Yeah.
so we can get more people. But we still have limited spots. But we just started up last week, and we're spending like barely any money on advertising, and we have like 12 to 15 calls every single week of people wanting to do this. So it's more like the problem of having to pick out the ones that we truly believe in, because our whole model is about getting people successful so that we can invest in their business and grow it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right now, we just had a client reach 10K months with his business. So we bought a 50 profit share, and now we're scaling it and making it into a legit brand, doing product development and everything with him.
So
Uh,
you invest in your students' businesses. And just to clarify, this agency that you have now that is only for people in Norway, and you said also Sweden and Finland, or no?
um, Not Finland, Denmark and
Sweden.
Swedish people we are open to take in if
Yeah.
they can understand Norwegian.
Yeah.
But we only advertise in Norway.
Yeah, yeah, because I know that Norwegian and Swedish is pretty similar, right?
Yeah.
And then Danish, I've heard some derogatory things about Danish. Someone told me Danish and Norwegian the differences. But okay, so basically it's open to Norwegians, and Swedes and Danish people who can understand Norwegian, and then not Finnish people because obviously it's very different, right? So, and then specifically, just to clarify for the audience, if you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are watching from that region and they're interested. Is the agency that you have, is it specifically, I know you mentioned also health and mindset and everything else, but is it also specifically to get them successful on Shopify or other businesses too?
Yeah, so we have the most experience with ecom via Shopify because that's what we have done. But we also have a lot of experience with other business models. So I would say we mainly coach Shopify, but we also have some other business models inside the course that we also help people with. So, for
Cool.
example, coaching businesses, helping people to become closers so they can close other clients, for example, media buyers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sick. Cool. So what is it called? What's your agency called?
Levvel Academy.
Levvel Academy. Okay. So anybody who wants to join Levvel Academy, obviously you're saying that ever since you joined and you're not even spending any money, barely spending any money on ads because there's such a high demand. How many spots do you have? Like how does it work? Like, because there's limited spots, right? So
Yeah, we're thinking to take in between 10 and 20 people within Christmas
okay.
this year. And
Okay,
then we'll
cool.
see if we open up more spots after that. And
Okay.
you have to come from Scandinavia and you have to be over 18 years old.
Okay. And is it a monthly fee or is it a one-time?
It used to be a monthly fee, but now it's a one-time fee, and then you have lifetime access. And we're going to continue to develop these courses and this coaching for like many, many,
Cool.
many years to come.
Cool. And
We're investing every single dollar that we make back into the business.
so sweet. So Magnus, obviously you said that you're taking in about 10 to 20 new people. You have 10 to 20 new spots by Christmas. So I'm going to put your link down below. I think it's amazing what you're doing. Our missions align, especially because you're doing it for the Scandinavian market, for the Norwegian market primarily, but also Swedes, open to Swedes and Danish people or anybody else who understands Norwegian. So, anybody who's interested, check out the link down below. I highly back Magnus. I think that what he's doing is great. It's the same mission. And, obviously, I'm excited to see what you do, and obviously there's going to be so many more people like you. By the way, is it only open for men or women as well? Anybody?
It's open for everybody, but
Everybody.
like 99% of our clients are men, young
Okay,
men between like 22 and 30.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, obviously there's going to be a lot more people just like yourself who go down this journey and then succeed, and then they're going to do their own thing, and it's like that way, our mission, which aligns, like becomes more and more like it comes to life, right? Because there's so many people that are benefiting. So fantastic, dude. Well, thank you so much. Do you have any last words of advice for anybody else? The 25-year-old, I think you're 27 now. So when you were starting, you were 24, 25. Do you have any words of advice for, maybe even if you think about the past Magnus, 24, 25 years old, if you were talking to him, what would you tell him?
I would tell him that just imagine your dream life. You only have one life. Imagine your dream life. Really visualize how it would feel to be living your dream life. And then, even though you might not believe in it now, go for it. Because just in going for it, you already release the energy that you might reach it. And that feeling of that you might reach it is what's going to drive you all the way there.
Absolutely.
Just about this.
Do you think that anybody, if they, let's say, do this and apply themselves, and they really believe in themselves, do you think anybody can succeed?
I think it would be wrong of me to say that everybody could succeed, but I think that with the right support and something that you said that I still remember to this day, if you never give up, success is inevitable.
That's true.
So theoretically, if you never give up, one day you will succeed.
I mean, yeah, like, and people tell me, or in my past 6 years of doing this, I'd have people tell me like, what about someone from like Africa, and they have no money to start and they're stuck and all this. And like, I'm like, dude, well, yeah, okay. It's just their journey is a little bit harder. Well, a little bit, it's harder. Yes, of course. Step one, move to a place, get where that supports your dreams better, right? I mean, there's always a way. At the end of the day, okay, it takes 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. But the thing is if you don't give up, you will do it. That's the problem. People give up, and they kind of a year or two or three pass and they're like, screw this. Like, and then they go back into slavery. They go back into the 9-to-5 bullshit, which is meant to keep you a slave and just meant to like, basically keep you craving this rich lifestyle on Instagram, but never being able to achieve it. Right. So do you drive any, like, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. It's actually also a benefit of having like a harder journey, because then at the end of the journey, when you actually have succeeded, looking back at your journey feels even better.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that the harder you work, the more difficulties you overcome, the better the success feels.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like the main reward of everything here, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So what's your biggest goal? What's your biggest goal by, let's say, if you're 27 now, biggest goal by 30?
Um, my goal is to align myself with the highest and best version of myself, and treat the people around me the best that I can, treat myself the best that I can, work on my business the best that I can, and then just let the results be a by effect of me feeling as good as I possibly can here in the moment. I don't
Sweet.
really have any specific like numbers.
Yeah. So you don't have a specific goal or anything, like a number goal.
Um,
I mean, if you've done, dude, you've done 2.5 million. I know sales. Okay, how
yeah,
much total profit out of that 2.5? I know you said you sold your business, so if you want to share.
yeah, I would say around maybe 600,000,
Yeah, but
500.
still, dude, in 2 years, going from working at the gym to, making 600 G's, bro. Like you obviously, I'm sure there's so many people in Norway, like your old friends that are like messaging you and they're like, yo, bro, like, what are you doing? Yo, like,
Yeah,
yo, show me, teach me, right? Right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
But the,
yeah.
the biggest change happened when I was able to achieve freedom and escape my 9 to 5.
Escape your front. Were you working front desk at the gym? Yeah, escape the front desk of the gym.
I
Yeah,
actually I actually enjoyed it though, but I always had the nagging feeling of I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
yeah, true. Okay, yeah,
That's
join Magnus's coaching down below.
levelacademy.no.
Cool. Levelacademy.no. Sweet. Thanks so much for being on here, man. And it really, really makes me happy, the success that you achieved. And it every time I do one of these interviews, it's like it's not only to show people, oh yeah, like my stuff works, but also there's a deep fulfillment that I get where I'm like, damn, like
Yeah.
like it's I was right. Like not anybody, but I think most people can do this. I just think that as if they get the support they need, if they get the information they need, and if they show up, right? You can get a gym membership, but if you don't show up to the fucking gym, you're not gonna get fit and stuff. So thanks,
Exactly.
Magnus. Thanks so much, bro.
No worries. Thank you so much. And I just want to finish off by saying that if you are watching this right now and you're thinking, this sounds amazing, but who am I to do this? You don't really believe in yourself. I was in your exact shoes 3 years ago. I was watching Dan Vass's videos on YouTube. I was watching these success stories. I was highly motivated by it. I decided that I really, really wanted to try this. I never gave up. And now I'm sitting here 2.5 years later talking to Dan himself. So
That's that's
if it's
amazing.
possible for me, then it's possible for you.
Absolutely. Sweet. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you so much, Dan.
If you enjoyed the student success interview and you want to get started, you're tired of waiting, you want to achieve freedom, and you want to build that successful e-commerce business, click on the link down below to check out the Ecom Freedom Elite Mentorship Program. It is the highest rated e-commerce mentorship program online. We only work with a limited amount of students every quarter. We only take 200 people per quarter per course, whether that's Amazon or Shopify. So when you click on that link, if you see a wait list, then put in your email and you're going to get an email as soon as we are opening up the next round of mentorship students, which is every quarter, 200 people. So if you want to do this, you want to do it the right way, and you want to work with people who have blazed this path before and who have achieved success, you want to work with $1 million mentors, go ahead and click on the link down below to put in your application to join the Ecom Freedom Elite Mentorship Program. We only work with people who fit the profile of somebody who would succeed. We know there's lots of different factors, and since we've worked with thousands of people and brought them to success, we know the kind of person who succeeds, and we only want to work with people who really know we can help. So check that out. Click on that link and put in that application form if you want to get started and you want to achieve freedom now. Thanks so much for watching. For the best freedom and online business information out there, for the best, truth, freedom, and for the information that will set you free, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.